Right now, somewhere in the world, a perfectly healthy senior is doing something that is quietly shortening their life. And the most unsettling part? That person has no idea. They think they are doing everything right. They have followed the same routines for decades. They feel reasonably okay. And yet, at a cellular level, their body is aging faster than it needs to. I am Dr. Rachel Augustine. I have spent over 2 decades in clinical practice and research focused on aging, longevity, and senior wellness. And in all those years, there is one pattern I keep seeing. Patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who are sharp, motivated, and deeply committed to their health, making daily choices that are working directly against them. Not because they are careless, because no one ever gave them the right information. Today, we are fixing that. I want you to know something before we go any further. A 10-year longitudinal study tracking more than 11,000 adults between the ages of 62 and 84 found that participants who changed just a handful of specific daily behaviors showed a 58% lower rate of serious physical decline, nearly half the rate of cognitive deterioration, and reported quality of life measures almost twice as high as those who made no changes. And here is the part that should stop you cold. Many of these participants made those changes after their 72nd birthday. It is not too late. Let that settle. Now, I will tell you up front. Number 1 on today's list is a morning habit so deeply embedded in our culture that most physicians never think to question it. Their patients do it every single day, and no one raises a flag. You will not want to skip to the end on this one, because the science behind it changed the way I counsel every patient I see. But before we count down, I want to ask you something. Drop your age in the comments below and tell me, what is one health habit you are genuinely proud of maintaining? I personally read every comment on this channel, and your experiences shape the topics I bring you. So take a moment, leave your answer, and let us build something meaningful together right here. Now, let's count down from 7 to 1, from important to absolutely life-altering. Habit number 7, eating large, infrequent meals. This one is going to challenge everything your nutritional upbringing taught you. 3 square meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and a proper dinner. It sounds responsible, traditional, healthy even, but here is what the science says about the body you are living in right now. After the age of 65, your entire digestive architecture begins to change. Gastric acid output, the acid your stomach uses to break down food and extract nutrients, can drop by up to 35%. Digestive enzyme production follows the same downward trend, and the absorptive capacity of your small intestine becomes less efficient when faced with large food volumes all at once. In practical terms, that big plate of food you sit down to in the evening is not being processed the way it was when you were 45. Large portions delivered infrequently put pressure on a system that now functions best when given smaller, more regular fuel deliveries. Research out of a leading university longevity institute found that older adults who shifted from 2 or 3 large meals to 4 or 5 smaller, nutrient-rich meals spaced consistently throughout the day showed a 32% improvement in muscle protein synthesis and a measurable reduction in inflammatory markers within 3 months. Think of it this way. Your digestive system after 70 is like a precision engine that runs cleaner on steady, smaller fuel loads, rather than one enormous tank fill. The engine has not gotten worse, it has simply changed what it needs. Practically speaking, aim to eat every 3 to 4 hours. Each meal or snack should include at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. Why that much? Because after 65, your muscles develop what researchers call anabolic resistance. They become less responsive to the protein signals that trigger repair and growth. So you need more protein to get the same anabolic effect you once got with less. Pair each smaller meal with a modest amount of healthy fat. Think olive oil, avocado, a small handful of walnuts. These fats significantly enhance the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins your bones and immune system depend on. Habit number 6. Long, hot daily showers. I can feel the pushback already. Stay with me. because this is one of the most fascinating intersections of dermatology and cardiovascular physiology you will ever hear explained. As the body ages, the sebaceous glands, the glands responsible for producing the skin's natural oils, gradually reduce their output. Your skin barrier becomes thinner and more vulnerable to moisture loss. Hot water, especially prolonged exposure, strips away the lipid layer protecting your skin's surface and triggers what dermatologists call transepidermal water loss, meaning your skin loses moisture from the inside out long after you have stepped out of the shower. A dermatology study found that adults over 65 who took daily hot showers lasting more than 10 minutes had significantly higher rates of chronic skin inflammation and measurable deterioration of the skin's immune barrier. But the cardiovascular dimension is where this becomes a genuine safety issue for seniors. Hot water causes rapid vasodilation. Your blood vessels suddenly widen, causing a quick drop in blood pressure. After the age of 70, your cardiovascular system's ability to compensate for those sudden pressure changes is slower. The result is dizziness, and in a room with hard surfaces, wet floors, and nothing to grab, dizziness becomes a fall waiting to happen. The bathroom is consistently ranked among the highest risk environments for adults over 65, and shower temperature is a quietly underreported contributing factor. The adjustment is not dramatic. Switch from hot to warm, keep showers under 8 minutes, apply a ceramide-based moisturizer immediately after, while your skin is still slightly damp, to seal in hydration before it escapes. And if you want a bonus for your circulatory system, end your shower with 20 to 30 seconds of cool water. Research on contrast hydrotherapy shows it supports vascular tone and helps reduce fatigue in older adults. Habit number 5. Avoiding strength training because something hurts. This is one of the most dangerous misconceptions I encounter. And I say that with full compassion because on the surface, it sounds completely logical. Your knee aches, your shoulder is sore, your lower back flares up, so you rest, you protect the joint, you avoid anything that might make it worse. The problem is that the science runs in the exact opposite direction. Muscles and joints do not operate independently. They operate as a system. When your muscles weaken, they transfer more mechanical load to the joints, not less. The cartilage and connective tissue that cushion your joints are designed to work within a muscular framework. Remove that framework, and the joints bear the full burden of every movement you make. After 65, the body begins losing muscle mass through a process called sarcopenia. Without active resistance-based exercise, adults in their 70s can lose up to 3% of their total muscle mass each year. By the late 70s, that accumulates into a loss of functional capacity that affects your balance, your walking speed, your metabolism, and your ability to recover from illness or injury. A landmark study from a major U.S. university following adults aged 72 to 98 through twice-weekly progressive resistance training reported an average strength increase of over 100% in just 10 weeks. More importantly for this conversation, several participants reported a reduction in joint pain, not an increase. Frailty is reversible. Muscle loss is reversible. The key is to start where you are, not where you used to be. Begin with seated resistance exercises using light bands or body weight. Focus on your largest muscle groups, thighs, glutes, and back, because building these creates the greatest systemic benefit. And here is a critical synergy. Consume a protein-rich meal within 30 minutes of finishing your resistance session. That post-exercise window is when your muscles are most primed to absorb amino acids and begin repair. For seniors with anabolic resistance, this timing is not optional. It is the difference between training that works and training that stalls. I want to briefly pause here and speak to you directly. If you are watching this right now and you have never heard these things from your own doctor, you are not alone. The gap between what research shows and what reaches patients is wider than it should be. That is exactly why this channel exists. If this information has opened your eyes even a little, I am asking you to do one thing right now. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss a new video. Each week, I bring you the kind of evidence-based guidance that takes the complexity out of aging well, and it costs you absolutely nothing to stay connected. Now let's keep going, because we are only halfway through the list, and the next three are extraordinary. Habit number 4, accepting vision decline as fixed and irreversible. Here is something most eye care conversations never include. Your visual system, like the rest of your body, responds to training. The lens of the eye is controlled by small muscles called ciliary muscles. With age, these muscles stiffen and weaken, reducing your ability to shift focus between near and distant objects. This is what we call presbyopia, and almost every adult over 60 experiences it. Most people simply accept progressively stronger reading glasses and assume the trajectory is inevitable. But researchers at a major California university published findings showing that a daily practice of near to far focusing exercises, just 25 to 30 minutes, combined with adequate dietary lutein and zeaxanthin, produced measurable improvements in reading clarity and visual processing speed in adults over 60 within a matter of weeks. The ciliary muscles are still muscles. They respond to stimulus. This will not eliminate the need for corrective lenses, but it can slow the rate of progression and support greater visual independence for longer. There is a second layer here that matters even more from a safety standpoint. After 70, the brain's ability to detect contrast, distinguishing objects from similar colored backgrounds in low or dim lighting, can decrease by roughly 25%. This is one of the primary drivers of falls in poorly lit spaces. It is not that seniors do not see the step or the edge of the rug. It is that the contrast between it and the surrounding surface has become genuinely harder for the visual cortex to process. Targeted visual exercises, ensuring adequate intake of zinc and vitamin A, and intentionally improving the lighting conditions in your home are all evidence-based strategies that can make a meaningful difference, and very few people are ever told about them. It progresses with a no tumor that makes a continuous cognitive. Seniors who slept 9 or more hours per night had a substantially higher rate of cognitive decline than those sleeping 7 to 8 hours. This is not because longer sleep caused harm directly, it has become chronic extended time in bench in diagram 2. Published findings in a major medical journal identified a meaningful correlation between regular use of these anticholinergic medications and elevated dementia risk in older adults. These compounds cross the blood-brain barrier, suppress a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine that is essential for memory and learning, and with repeated use can produce lasting changes in brain chemistry. If you are struggling with sleep quality, focus on these 4 cornerstones: consistent sleep and wake times every single day, even on weekends, a bedroom temperature between 65 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, no screen exposure in the 60 minutes before bed, and 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate taken 30 minutes before sleep. Magnesium glycinate is one of the most bioavailable forms and has strong research support for improving both sleep onset and sleep depth in older adults. Pair it with a small cup of chamomile or passion flower tea for a natural synergy that supports calming neurotransmitters without the risks associated with pharmaceutical sleep aids. Habit number 2, not drinking enough water because you no longer feel thirsty. I want you to hear this clearly because this may be the single most invisible health threat affecting seniors today. Here is the biology. Your hypothalamus, the part of your brain that governs thirst signals, becomes progressively less sensitive with age. By 70, many adults have a significantly blunted thirst response. You can be clinically dehydrated and feel perfectly normal. Your body has stopped sending you the warning signals it once did reliably. European nutrition researchers found that as many as 40% of independently living adults over 70 are chronically mildly dehydrated without knowing it, and the consequences are far more serious than most people realize. Mild chronic dehydration in older adults is associated with a 30% increase in urinary tract infections, one of the most common triggers of sudden acute cognitive decline and emergency hospitalization in the elderly. It raises the risk of kidney stones. It contributes to constipation and poor bowel function. It can alter the concentration of water-soluble medications in the bloodstream, raising them to levels above their therapeutic target. And research from a major UK university found that even dehydration as small as 1 to 2% of body weight, completely undetectable by feel, measurably reduces short-term memory, concentration, and reaction speed in older adults. Your joints depend on hydration. The discs between your vertebrae depend on it. Your eyes, your skin, your kidney function, all of it runs on water. After 75, your kidneys lose some of their ability to concentrate urine efficiently, meaning you excrete more water relative to your intake than you did in midlife. You need more fluid than your body is telling you to drink. Target a minimum of 6 to 8 cups of water per day, distributed evenly through your waking hours rather than consumed in large amounts at once. Your aging kidneys handle steady input more efficiently than large boluses. Keep a 32-ounce water bottle in your most used space and commit to finishing it twice before you sleep. Add a small pinch of unrefined salt or a sugar-free electrolyte supplement to 1 glass daily to support cellular absorption, and supplement with hydrating whole foods. Cucumber, watermelon, leafy greens, and broths all contribute structured water that your body absorbs with particular efficiency. And now, the one I promised you at the beginning. Habit number 1. Sitting down within the first 30 minutes of waking up. I know, you did not see that coming. Stick with me here, because the physiology behind this is remarkable, and once you understand it, you will never think about your morning routine the same way again. Every morning, in the minutes immediately following waking, your body initiates a natural hormonal event called the cortisol awakening response. During this window, roughly 30 to 45 minutes after your eyes open, cortisol levels surge by 50 to 100% above baseline. This is not stress cortisol. This is your body's biological ignition system. It is preparing your cardiovascular system, activating your immune defenses, sharpening your cognitive focus, and signaling your muscles to get ready for the physical demands of the day. For older adults, this morning hormonal window is one of the most powerful biological opportunities of the entire 24-hour cycle. When you sit down immediately after waking, at the breakfast table, in a chair with your morning beverage, on the couch with the television, you are, in effect, telling your body that the day's activity is already complete. The cortisol has been released, but it has nowhere to go. Researchers analyzing the movement patterns of more than 4,800 adults over 65 in a study published in a prominent sports medicine journal found that individuals who were sedentary during the first hour after waking showed significantly elevated rates of metabolic dysfunction, cardiovascular events, and memory decline over a 5-year follow-up period. This was independent of how much they exercised later in the day. What happened in that first hour mattered on its own. Here is the deeper mechanism. During the cortisol awakening response, that morning hormone surge acts as a natural anti-inflammatory agent. It suppresses joint stiffness. It clears residual inflammatory compounds that accumulate in tissues overnight, and it primes your muscular system for the movement signals that trigger daily repair and growth. When you remain still through this window, cortisol circulates without fulfilling its purpose, and chronically misdirected cortisol becomes associated with increased abdominal fat storage, accelerated bone density loss, and immune suppression. Additionally, research from a European university found that light physical movement immediately after waking elevated muscle protein synthesis rates throughout the entire following day in adults over 65, even when the morning activity was brief and gentle. We are talking about a 10-minute walk, light stretching, slow, intentional movement in your living room, nothing extreme, just enough to honor the biological window your body is already opening for you. The practical step could not be simpler. Tomorrow morning, before you sit down, before the coffee, before the television, step outside for 10 minutes. Walk at whatever pace feels comfortable. Breathe the morning air. Let your legs carry you. And here is the synergy that makes this even more powerful. Pair that morning movement with natural light exposure. When sunlight enters your eyes in the morning, it triggers a serotonin release that works in precise coordination with your cortisol awakening response. Together, they synchronize your entire circadian rhythm for the day. Your nighttime melatonin production improves, your mood stabilizes, your sleep becomes deeper, and multiple studies have demonstrated this combination. Morning movement plus morning light reduces the risk of seasonal mood disorders in older adults and supports long-term cognitive resilience. Morning movement and morning light, free, no prescription required, no side effects, and almost no one is doing it. Start tomorrow, 10 minutes. That is the entire ask. We covered a lot of ground today. Smaller, more frequent meals, safer shower practices, why resistance training reduces pain rather than causing it, vision exercises most eye doctors never mention, the truth about long sleep and common sleep aids, the invisible crisis of dehydration, and the single most powerful thing you can do tomorrow morning before you do anything else. These are not theories. They are evidence-based, clinically relevant changes that are within reach for every person watching this right now, regardless of your age, your current health status, or where you are starting from. If this video gave you even one thing you will use, I want to ask you for something in return. Hit that subscribe button right now and click the bell to be notified every time I publish a new video. This channel is built entirely for you, for adults who are done accepting decline as inevitable and ready to take back control of how they age. And in the comments below, tell me this: which one of these 7 habits are you committing to change first? I read every single response. Your answers guide future content, and they encourage the thousands of other seniors who read these comments every day. You have more influence over your own aging than you have ever been told. I am here to make sure you have the information to act on it. I will see you in the next one.